Both of us are tense as we prepare to depart.
Milady, a change of clothes has been laid out in your car.
I see. Thank you.
I've also prepared Akihiko-san's favorite protein drink. And Fuka-san has been preparing a playlist suitable for a road trip in her room.
What? How do you know these things?
Very well. Pardon me.
As expected from Kikino-san, she is amazingly considerate as a personal assistant should be, but she can be too thoughtful at times. We learned this for ourselves when she came to accept us as people who are precious to Mitsuru-san.
Let's start this over, shall we? Shadow operatives, let's mobilize.
Thanks to Kikino-san, the tension in the air subsides a bit, but we cannot allow our attention to wander just now. Upon completing our preparations for departure, we immediately make our way to Inaba. How far away? They can't be that far away from the town. They must have a base really close. This fancy-ass car.
Why are we taking this car again, Mitsuru?
Akihiko-san grumbles in the backseat of the Shadow Operative's personal limousine. I'm not sure how to put this, but I find that his feelings are justified.
Don't question it, Akihiko. There was no time to prepare a vehicle with the same equipment. Speaking of appearances, are you gonna wear that again?
Sure. There's a chance that we'll have to fight after all. These clothes give me the flexibility I need.
Debating about their clothes.
You never change. Still, to think that the culprit would make a move so soon. We've completely lost the initiative.
Indeed. We need to begin taking measures right now. And we hope no danger comes to Narukami and his friends.
But you are a bitch to them. Mitsuru-san seems deeply agitated. During the car ride, she seemed distracted. At times, she would flip through the thick file in her lap, only to suddenly give an order to a subordinate, and at other times, she would stare intently at her watch as if lost in thought. Her usual regal composure is gone.
Mitsuru-san, why don't we just ask them to cooperate with us?
I agree. They seem pretty strong.
No, they're still...
They've kind of fought
If I asked for their
gods.
assistance, it would waste time better spent in school. Worse yet, it would put them in danger. I don't want anyone else to have to go through that anymore.
I understand how you feel, but they don't seem like the kind who'd listen. We were the same way back then.
He's not wrong. Mitsuru-san falls silent. It's likely not a mistake to think that the sudden spike in shadow activity this time is related to the events of a few days ago. It has become apparent to everyone that another dangerous battle is about to begin.
We have new information. Kikuno sent me a message. I tasked Kikuno with reviewing Ergo Research's quarantine server. But it seems...
Okay, so we're suddenly going back to this subject?
We discussed in our earlier conversation.
Oh,
According
it's
to
about
the
him.
report, it seems Ikutsuki was performing an experiment on his own in the lab directly after the explosion.
Ah, yeah.
It's unknown if this is related to our current mission, but there was a record of a plume of dust being used in the experiment.
A plume of dusk.
A plume of dusk, an object that blurs the line between matter and information, and is fitted into anti-shadow weapons like myself. It forms the core of our personality modules and is what allows us to control personas, even though we are machines.
So, what are the details of this experiment? Nothing good, I bet.
If it's coming from Ikutsuki, no. The limousine's engine suddenly roars, drowning out further conversation. It seems the road we are taking has begun to climb a steep hillside. As the car takes a winding road up the slope, I can look down through the window and see lush trees along the mountainside. For a moment, I thought I sensed a shadow reading. Could it have been just my imagination?
Yamagishi, tell me our current location.
One moment. I'm looking it up now. We're currently in Inaba Pass. We're almost at the target coordinates.
Oh. Could it be an... Yeah, it is an anime cutscene. You also gotta be high.
What is this?
Ah, they're in the range of the Midnight Channel.
Was that?
What's wrong?
Wait, no, it's still daylight.
like during the hijacking.
The red eyes.
Ibis, on it.
Oh shit, you. What?
Barrier. Are we trapped?
No one's gonna notice that picture of Show. Oh god! They're all dead. The end. Ambushed. Oh, I don't want to play as Ken. Please don't let me play as Ken. Anybody but Ken. I'd rather play as Junpei than Ken. I don't want to play as Ken, please. Anything but that. We're definitely doing Yukari first. Like, no doubt about it. Battle with Merloin. Okay. Let's see what this is all about then. Oh. Another anime cutscene. Oh, we're watching Power Rangers apparently. Oh no, Phoenix Rangers. Featherman.
So, you come to fight me, Featherman.
This must be that TV show she's a part of.
Forces have fallen. Stop here.
How dare you oppose me? Minionlings, get down!
Minionlings? That just seems incredibly redundant. What the hell? They look just like shadows.
Prepare for justice.
Don't be so sure.
And they're all defeated except for her.
Everyone,
Friendship, activate!
I've had enough of this. Ultimate arrow.
Well, you had this all along and you didn't use it?
It's over.
These are some really crazy visual effects. This is really high budget for a little kid's show. What?
Thank you.
That was actually live?
Well done. That looked really great.
How did they pull that off? It looked so good.
Let's take a 10-minute break.
When the director calls us out, the tension in the area dies away. I make my way to the simple tent used as our break room and take a sip of my drink. My scenes for today are done.
I'm tired.
You're on a roll, Feather Pink.
Huh? Do you think so? The directors had nothing but good things to say too.
Looks like this will have a positive effect on your main job.
Speaking of your next shoot,
So she's a model, right? My main job. My real job's supposed to be studying in college. I wipe the sweat from my brow as my manager excitedly tells me about the schedule for my next gig. I'd always had an interest in fashion, so I started taking modeling jobs as a way to earn some pocket money. Mitsuru's not helping you out? You're supposed to be besties. It's pretty tough since I've had to do things like pose in the middle of winter in just a t-shirt, but thankfully I've been able to get a steady flow of commissions now. Trying to manage both classwork and my job as a model was already hard enough, and my manager applied for an audition for a live-action show without my consent, claiming that I should broaden my work horizons. When I mentioned I had practiced archery in high school, it really got their attention. It all made sense to me when I learned that Feather Pink's weapon would be a bow and arrow, though. As a result, I ended up as a protector of Earth in a kid superhero show starting this year. While my acting work makes use of different expressions and my modeling career lets me dress up in a lot of different clothing, it kind of makes me feel like I'm changing who I am, too. It's insanely busy, but it's fulfilling and fun, and yet...
what's wrong?
Something troubling you?
Oh, not really.
I checked my cell phone, but Mitsuru-senpai still hasn't sent me a response. I have tomorrow off, so I emailed her earlier asking if she'd like to spend some time with me and go shopping. She's been contacting me less and less often recently, and when she does, it's because of shadows. Although not besties anymore. I am one of the Shadow Operatives, a group established by Mitsuru-senpai. I understand that she wants us all to be able to have normal lives, and she said that she wouldn't hesitate to ask for my help if she ever needed it, but it still seemed to me that she was taking everything on by herself. The attitude didn't satisfy me, so I forced her to add me to her team. However, unlike Aegis and the other official members, I am part of the special unit that only gathers in emergencies, trusted with immediately subduing shadows by force. What did she call it? The auxiliary staff? Something like that anyway. It's wonderful that there have been no situations that called for us to be dispatched, and even if something like that did arise, the official shadow operatives are all excellent. There's no need to worry with the likes of Akihiko-senpai and Aegis around, but...
Is it really that hard to just send back a reply? It's Golden Week, for God's sake.
Don't be a bitch.
What's this? Don't tell me you've got some boyfriend trouble. No, it's nothing like that.
We normally talk when we see each other, so I've never doubted my friendship with her. Still, when things remain unsettled, it's unsatisfying. Maybe I have to get on her case about taking everything on by herself again. Huh? There's something loud going on outside.
What? What's this helicopter doing here? Is there a helicopter in this shooting script?
Oh boy, who's here? As the sound gets closer, the tense walls and roof begin to undulate with an intense wind. When I rush outside, I see the crew are all looking up and causing a commotion. When I look up, there's a black helicopter descending towards the ground, dangling a rope ladder. The lady in the pilot seat sees me and gestures me towards the ladder. Oh. At that moment, it all becomes clear. I only know of one person who would do this.
I'm glad she came, but she's making too big of a scene.
I'm completely astounded by the utter absurdity of the situation, but before I know it, I'm already running towards the ladder. Is it gonna be that Kikuno girl? Oh, I guess we won't get to find out. And now I gotta play as Ken. Well, I guess not really play as Ken yet. I have to hear Ken's voice and all that, those terrible things that I don't want to deal with because I am not a fan of Ken. I haven't made that clear yet. I don't like Ken that much. The bright side is that we get to hear more and more of the Persona 3 soundtrack, but still. Oh, another anime cutscene. Oh, he plays soccer? Oh, pfft. Yeah, maybe. Oh, no, he's got a fan club? How can they like Ken? How can anyone like Ken? He's a little brat. He got Shinji killed.
Man, you were
Never forget.
Thanks for cheering for me.
You're a real hit with the ladies.
I'm gonna get going for today.
Okay, you better be this good next time, too.
Leave it to me.
Is that the same dorm? It is! Wow, okay. Is he just there with Koromaru now? Everyone else has graduated.
I'm home, Koromaru.
Aegis was the one who was able to understand them. There's some time until dinner, so I decided to leave the dorm again with Koromaru. The Gekkokan dormitory is where we live. It was briefly closed after Mitsuru-san and the others graduated. All the equipment from a few years ago was removed, of course, but with the increase in students at Gekkokan, they decided to reopen the dorm. I applied for a room as soon as I heard. Oh, so it's not a regular dorm. The reason I did it was because of Koromaru. He had been in Aige-san's care, but at this dorm, he'd be allowed to live with me. Also, to be honest, I felt that living here lets me stay close to my companions who are fighting even now. Back then, everyone took turns walking Koromaru. Now it's my job. The path to the nearby Naganaki Shrine is Koromaru's usual route. Koromaru is quite old for a dog, but as he trots along his usual pace along our usual path, it makes me think for a moment that all the fighting back then was just a dream. Only when I'm watching Koromaru walk like this can I forget everything and feel a little at ease.